What's up, everyone? It's funny seeing myself do my shit. Hold on a second. Let me get the. I always gotta fucking. Every stream, there's something. There's something I have to do that I don't do. Fuck. There we go. I mean, I get on every Sunday and Thursday. That's kind of how it works. What do you mean you had a feeling? You had a feeling that I would follow my schedule? Sup, holy cow. Everyone, do the like and subscribe and whatever. Like, subscribe, do all the things to make me more popular. I don't even fucking care anymore. Whatever, don't like it. I don't fucking care. Who cares? If you want to like it, be my guest. If you don't want to like it, that's good too. Just whatever. I like to keep things fun though, so check in the SARS just because that's funny. Wait a little bit. Wait a little bit. Get some people in here. Get some this audience going. Got 3 people watching right now. All right, that's 3 people. Oh, I just came from an event. I don't usually wear that's for the stream. Just but this is an ACP shirt, I guess. Actually, I think I'm allowed to wear it since I'm cadre. So here's me promoting party. What's the agenda today, Sar? I'm not sure actually. I'm just kind of like, I kind of picked this topic, American Guerrilla Civil War, just because I was thinking about what to talk about. It's something I've basically predicted a long time ago. Basically during the pandemic, I was like, yeah, shit's not headed in a good direction. But I'll talk more about that once people file in. I'll wait for at least like give it another. Yeah. If there aren't more than 10 after 8:15, then I'll just get started. But just wanna avoid having to repeat myself because sometimes people jump in and be like, "Hey, what are you guys talking about?" And I'm like, well, I mean, do you want me to go back and say the same thing I said 10 minutes ago that you could check on the stream? You know what I mean? You see, they made guns illegal in Canada. Wait, what? Oh, they weren't already illegal? Was that a recent thing? Let me look that shit up. Guns in Canada illegal. News. There's nothing recently in Canada. I don't see anything recently. But who cares? It's not like Canada's gonna be staging any sort of revolution anytime soon. Man, I guess people don't want to learn about the American Guerrilla Civil War. I guess sometimes maybe having, well, no, I don't care. Again, I don't care. I don't care how many people, remember, I always say 500 million years into the future. That's what this is for. Because I was gonna say, oh, maybe if I put a better, more catchier title, whatever, blah blah blah. Like, but no, we're not about that. We're not about that on this channel. This channel is just straight up truth. You know what I mean? Straight up, 100% unfiltered truth. Well, some of it's filtered. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I don't share everything. I'm not, there's some things I want to keep private about my own life, but as far as I know, probably the most truth-telling stream on the internet, at least politically. American Civil War, that keeps reminding me of that scene. Oh yeah, that's funny. What kind of American? Hong Kong. So China. You know what's funny? I bet you. Wait, actually, let me see the Who's the director of that? Civil War Wiki. Did that even make money? Oh, I guess it did make money. Let's see. Alex Garland. I'm from London, England, yeah? Oh, yeah. If this guy's fucking British, yeah, he definitely knew what he was talking about with the Hong Kong thing. Alex Garland, yeah? My name's Alex Garland. Garland? You from Hong Kong, mate? Well, you ain't really American then, are you? 'Cause you're British, mate. Or you're Chinese, eh? Yo, check in the SAR, David Tay. Everyone check in the SAR once you get in. Just so, we have something retarded to do. And everyone gets to chime in. Everyone gets to join in the retardation. In the check-in SAR retardation. Because why not? Why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? Checking in SAR. Steve is checking in. SAR's. All right. I think we've got 8 people. That's fine. 8 people's fine. Whatever. So yeah. So I don't know where most of you guys were at when the pandemic started 5 years ago. But almost immediately, and you can ask, close friends of mine to verify this, but almost immediately I was like, America's headed for civil war in 10 years. 2020. So I've got 5 years left on that prediction. But when I say civil war, what does that look like? Is it gonna be, like fucking the Confederate, army? Like, I guess the analogous would be the Kirk people being like, you know what, we gotta get our guns together and kill these libs, whatever. No, it's not gonna look like that. Obviously, there's a little bit more surveillance going on, a little bit more stuff that's going on with the CIA and all this other stuff. And you can't really organize militia without someone knowing. You can't really be like, you know what? The southern states need to get together and attack the northern. Yeah, that's not going to happen without, the U.S. military and the U.S. government kind of being like, not only that, back in the day. Exactly, David Tate. I've always been calling the doomsday. But back in the day, technology wasn't as big, so everyone had kind of a gun. I mean, you probably didn't have artillery. I guess that in Civil War, in the 19th century, I guess there was more use of artillery, and I'm not sure if there was like a lot of machine gun stuff in the Civil War. I think that was maybe a little bit later. I want to say that was maybe. Let me see. Actually, you know what? We've got Google. Were machine guns used during Civil War? Oh, the Gatling gun. Early forms of machine guns were used during the Civil War, although in very limited numbers without significant A hand-cranked multi-barrel weapon was invented by Richard J. Gatling. Oh, that's interesting. That's where it comes from. The Gatling gun in 1861, but saw little use by the official U.S. Army, who remained skeptical and focused on mass production rifles. But yeah, so as you can see, they didn't even have machine guns back in the day in the Civil War. I think there might have been some machine gun. Actually, let me just use a Google. Were machine guns used during Franco-Prussian War? Oh, large numbers of Gatling guns were purchased from the United States and were used by the Western powers in colonial wars. 25 Gatling guns also saw active service in French hands. So I guess the Civil War was when it was introduced, and then the Franco-Prussian War was when they started using them a lot more. And then obviously World War I was where they had the trenches, where they were using them so heavily that you couldn't get across anywhere because you just get machine gun mowed down, right? That was the lesson some military generals learned the hard way. Or rather, the infantry learned the hard way in 1914 when millions of soldiers just got mowed down because they were using 19th century battle tactics. They were like, charge! And then they're like... And they were like, oh, maybe we need to dig trenches and not charge. So that's kind of like what that transition was. Point is, I'm sidetracked from my main point. That's why I say the Civil War won't look like the Civil War, 150 years ago, 160 years ago. But also, we're kind of seeing what it would look like a little bit. We're seeing kind of pockets of what's going on. There was this recent shooting, apparently, at a Mormon church. And there was another shooting, anti-ice shooting, right? With anti-ice written on the bullets, instead of fuck ice, right? Like, who the fuck would write anti-ice on a bullet unless you were like 60 years old and didn't know what the youths were talking about? So yeah, that was obviously fake, unless they were boomers. But then they managed to kill 2 or 3 migrants, right? No ICE agents ever shot, right? Just managed to get kill shots on migrants, and all the bullets being shot, they managed to just hit migrants and kill them. Very successful terrorist shooter. And now there's a shooting at a Mormon church in Michigan. Which is interesting because, as we all know, the University of Utah, or whatever it's called, UVU, Utah's Mormon country. And what do we know about Mormon country? Well, we know that there are a lot of recruits to the FBI because the FBI is interested in people who are proper, orderly, and know how to keep a secret. Because let me tell you, Mormons, if you look a little bit more closely at the religion, you'll notice there's a little bit of perfidy going on around there and around, Mr. Joseph Smith and those gold plates of his. You'll notice there's a little subterfuge over at Brigham Young and all those kooky little Mormons in Utah, And it's just like, oh, wait, that's convenient. A Mormon church? Was shot up in Michigan? Oh, just 2-3 weeks after Charlie Kirk? Just a week after this anti-ICE shooting? Wow, the leftists are on a killing spree, aren't they? They just managed to kill someone who was turning his mind on Israel, and then they killed 2 migrants, and then they shot up Mormons, people that, well, evangelical Christians don't give a shit about. So, but basically, it's all about what can we the American government portray to the American people through our media, through the media that we control, because we just that's how it's been since Operation Mockingbird, right? And so I guess I chose this topic to basically, highlight the fact that we might be seeing the start of the American Civil War. And like, you know, years from now, decades from now, centuries from now, when they say World War III, like that could have already started either in 10-7, obviously. That could be the thing that killed Franz Ferdinand or whatever, the Archduke, right? That could be it. Or it could be, or some of them, some historians might pick the Russian SMO in Ukraine, or they might even pick 2014 when the whole Ukraine thing started. And so when you look at history, when you're predicting events that are similar to past events, they're never going to look like, it's never going to be a collection of senators gathering in Fort Sumter and being like, we got to teach these Yankees what's going on, It's not going to look like that, right? It's not even going to look like, oh, these Charlie Kirk fans all, we got to, show these libtards, who's boss. I mean, like they say a lot of that shit online, right? They're going to say about that shit, whatever. But what's going to end up happening is no one's going to actually do shit unless they are more and more in the fucking debt or in the shitter. There's a lot of doom spending going on right now, and what doom spending is this phenomena where people who are so far in the hole, like let's say you were in debt. Let's say like you had a job that paid like 40, 50K a year or something like that, and you were in debt for like $1 million or something ludicrous. At that point, you say to yourself, well, what's an extra 100K gambling, whatever. So what they'll do is they'll take out loans, whatever, wherever they can, and they'll just gamble that or spend it or whatever, because they'll be like, you know what? Doesn't matter anyway. What's another $1,000? I already owe fucking $1 million. I owe two. So there's a lot of that shit going on. And so when the creditors come and collect all their shit and they're totally destitute, that's when people get desperate, right? So you're not going to have these organized bodies, because like the Civil War was a bourgeois war, right? You had bourgeois slave owners who were organizing people, the Southern rebels, a lot of them who didn't want to die for slave owners, but they forced them to anyway, right? There were enough racists, poor white people that they could assemble an army and be like, those damn Yankees are taking over or whatever. Today's time, that doesn't really exist, because the fact of the matter is, the fact of the matter is that both parties are captured by imperialism. They have been on the same side since the Compromise of 1877. So what is going to happen is that as economic conditions worsen, right, you're going to have some of those dooms people, whatever, a lot of them are going to like lose everything, right, as shit gets worse and worse and worse. And so what they're going to do is they're just going to be like, you know what, I have nothing to lose anyway, I'm just going to commit crimes. I'm just going to do shit. Or, maybe they're not even this doomsday person or whatever, and they legitimately lost everything, and the media is telling them it was immigrants, it was ICE, it was this, it was that. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to be like, well, you know what? It's over for me anyway, so why not get some vengeance on the people that are responsible for it? Why not act out, right? So Civil War 2.0 in America is going to look more like a lot of stochastic violence all around the country, until it's to the point where people are like, you know what? Maybe we need fucking martial law.
And then that's when everything turns fascist. That's when the public has bought into fascism. That's when public is like, police, save us. Government, save us from this stochastic violence that's going on. And that's basically what they're incubating. The ruling class is incubating this on purpose because they know once the heat is turned up enough and there's a lot of shit going on, when the stock market crashes and fucking everything's, chaotic, the people are going to be like, you know what? I want fascism now. I want that law and order going on right now because this is fucking crazy. And they'll be somewhat justified, right? To the average person, they'll be like, yeah, I don't want to live in chaos. And we've already kind of seen that in the past 4 to 5 years. We're seeing a low level. That's what the Democrats fucking set up. With all their fucking DEI nonsense and fucking, George Soros nonsense all over the fucking country. That's what they set up. They set up these lax, terrible fucking laws for criminal justice, fucking restorative justice bullshit nonsense. No one fucking, that's not Marxist, okay? There's no restorative justice in Marxism, Leninism. There's just fucking 10 years hard labor if you're a fuck up, all right? That's the gulag, okay? Okay, there's no fucking restorative justice where you're just like let off on the street for being a fucking piece of shit. That's like liberal nonsense. But they promoted that shit since 2020. You know why? To cause exactly this anti-immigrant, anti-black people kind of sentiment. And now that they've got it, they're going to turn now that the Republicans are in power, that's the way it fucking works. They use the Democrats, like the CIA just uses the Democrats as a setup and then like turns it around and be like, hey, we were against this the whole time with Republicans. And that way, they set up the Republicans as the ones to trust. And so that's why you still have all these like magatards who are like clearly falling for it again awards. The rest of the world has taken the hint, all right? The rest of the world has walked out on Satan Yahoo, right? Just last week in the UN. They all walked out, except for the fucking Nazi white countries, obviously. But all the non-white countries were like, yeah, you guys are, Americans, you're somewhat winning Fall For It Again awards. Either you're evil or you're retarded. I don't know which one. I'm talking from the perspective of the global south, right? I'm talking from the perspective of all these countries who are like, I don't know if Americans are just straight up evil or if they're retarded right now. But either way, the rest of the world can clearly see what's going on. And we're just falling for it again awards. And that's why it's just going to be this. That's why it's not going to be this whole civil war, like organized fucking militias and all this shit, all this LARP that the Republicans are talking. It's not going to look like that. It's just going to look like the people who have nothing to lose, the people who feel like, the world has left them behind or they're in such crippling debt that it doesn't even fucking matter. And that they're all nihilist on the left and the right. It's not just the left. I mean, it's not just the right. It's going to be a lot of leftist nihilists, too, who are just fucking... I mean, to me, they're both fucking Nazi scum. But, yeah. It's just kind of like... That's the ping pong ball, right? That was the fucking... You had... Well, first you had Obama, right? You had Obama introduce wokenomics because they had to like make everyone distracted about the fucking debacle of the Iraq war and the Afghanistan war and the fucking economy melting down. And they were like, hey, we need this black president who can use his black like Zionist shield, the Afro-Zionism, that's what I call it. His Afro-Zionism shield, right? Because guess what? For the longest time, Israel and liberal Jews have been working with the civil rights movement, right? So they were like, hey, we use this Zionist shield all the time to escape criticism. if you have a black president, guess what? All the fucking criticism you levy at them, they'll be called anti-black. Genius, right? And guess what happened? Fucking Obama introduced wokenomics, right? After Occupy Wall Street. If you watched my second video dissertation, you would know all about that, right? And so you have this identity politics going on to cover over the fucking failure of the Afghanistan, the financial crisis, right? Then you have Trump, who's kind of like overcorrecting the other way, who's so clearly racist and whatever that the average person, the average non-white person can see he's like pretty racist and just an idiot. But then, by the end, they install Joe Biden, who's another fucking stooge. He's basically the most racist president, most racist Democrat in the fucking party. But because Obama was his president, that means the low info black voters in the South all fell for it again. Awards, right? They were all like, "Oh yeah, because he was Obama's vice president, he must be a." It's like, no, obviously not. But then obviously he doesn't even do anything for black people. What he does is increases police budgets. He increases all this shit. Not only that, all the woke shit, that goes for the fucking trans people, okay? So he creates all this fucking... But not only that, like I said before, Soros, all the Soros DAs let up all the fucking Arkham asylums all around the country. And basically and then now it's like, oh shit, we need Trump now because all these black people and all these immigrants are attacking us because Arkham Asylum is now open. And then we have Trump back in office. And then now we're like, oh shit, he's just fucking wholesale genociding children now and just fucking, now he's using ICE to look like he's deporting, immigrant fucking criminals. But what he's really doing is he's deporting people who are protesting Israel. So yeah, all this is basically not to create an actual civil war, but to create enough stochastic violence within the masses that we still keep thinking it's the other fucking side. You're thinking, oh, it's the right, it's the left. Well, it's like, no, you dumb fucks. If you stopped and thought for like 5 seconds, it's not about Trump. It's not about Biden. It's not about Obama. These are all just stupid fucking figureheads that do what the machine tells them to do. They did not make a single fucking actual decision. Because if they went off this, if they actually did go off the decision, what's going to happen to them? Well, Trump kind of figured that out when he was nearly shot last year, right? So if you don't do what the CIA tells you to do, we all know from the double tap of the Kennedy brothers what went on. We all know what happened with the Watergate setup in 74 or 73, was it? Ran by a former CIA operative. So we can see where that went. Sorry, Richard. You kind of get fucked. Yeah. So, Reagan was obviously their stooge. George Bush was a former CIA director. And Clinton, yeah, I mean, after Clinton was in, because the Democrats kind of were supported by more liberal Jews, the Jews kind of gravitated towards the Clintons. And they kind of paid him, whatever, blah, 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 support him through all this bullshit. And you can see why now. You can see a certain Mr. Epstein cozying up to Mr. Clinton for the longest time. And so, yeah, the point of this, that the bourgeois, both parties, They are in sync. They are not doing anything that the CIA doesn't tell them to do already. So all this kind of like kind of like it's all fucking noise. It's all fucking jibber jabber, and I'm just like I'm so over it. You know, I was over it in 2020. Actually, I was like, this is retarded. Why would I vote for either party? They're all fucking scum. And you know what it is? It's because Americans cannot think outside of America. And part of that is just by design. Part of this by design of our media, telling us we're the greatest people on earth all the time and all this other fucking blowing us nonsense that we all bought. We all bought it. I'll admit it. I bought it. You know, America this goat. We are the best, whatever, blah blah blah, etc. etc. You know, I ate that shit up. I'm not gonna lie. We all did. But at some point you gotta be like, are we the best though? What are we good at anymore? That's the funniest thing too. It's so funny to hear retarded like non-tech people talk about how technologically advanced we are. And I'm like, you guys couldn't even fucking like get the derivative of x squared, you dumb fucks. Like, you guys do not know what the fuck you're talking about when it comes to technology. And it's just like so hilarious. It's actually kind of like, well, it's hilarious and it's also sad. Because you're like, well, maybe it is too late for America. I'm not supposed to be a nihilist, I guess, but I mean, maybe it'll take. That's the thing too. I'm just kind of like, you know, even if if America does go through a communist revolution, I'm just kind of like, am I willing to die for that? Like, this is a country that has treated Asians like shit for its entire history, and I'm supposed to like die for this country? That's just kind of like, well, I don't know about that, guys. That's what I've been thinking about the past couple weeks. You know, ever since Charlie Kirk's death, I'm just like thinking like, man, if they could take out Kirk, they could take out anyone, right? They could take out any one of us. And it's just kind of like, I try to be patient. I try to patiently go through my thoughts to other Americans, other non-Asian Americans, and try to patiently explain to them what I'm seeing, you know, what I'm seeing in American society. I remember when Ronnie Chang was talking about this once. He was like, he was more talking about like how because he's not white or black, and because the main racial tension seems to be white black in America, he was basically saying that he, as an Asian American, could play an arbiter, a judge that did not have bias in either side. And it was kind of funny, but I actually think there's a truth in that. I think because Asian Americans are completely outside, or they're completely foreigners, that actually gives Asian Americans more of an objective view of the different conflicts that are going on in America. We're like, because we have no skin in the game. Y'all just, well, we literally have no skin in the game, right? We literally have zero skin in this America. Our identity does apparently to most Americans does not equal American. So we are actually the perfect people to be like, hey, what do you think about this and this in America? And I'm like, well, X, Y, and Z from my perspective, because I'm objective. I don't have any skin in the game, literally. And I can use fucking historical materialism like a fucking scientist, you know? And I'll be like, hey, this is what's going on, guys. And they're like, You're just an incel. You're just an MR agent. You're just. And I'm like, you dumb fucks. Like, I'm literally trying to help you right now. I'm literally just trying to fucking help you by pointing out your fucking retarded nonsense. All right, let me read the chat for a little bit. Let me see what's going on. Straight to the gulag. Yes. Operation Protective World War III. Yeah. That's what I was referring to, BM. The Ukraine situation, Crimea. Civil War movie from last year might be predicting the future. Straight to the gulag. Vassals will be pushed towards fascism. Yeah, probably. U.S. two-party system working. South Korea had a protest against Bibi. Yeah, that's the thing, too. Most South Korean citizens are like, yeah, this is nonsense bullshit. I saw that church that was waving around flags of Israel, and I saw those fucking fake, cuck servitards, protest or saying Charlie Kirk or whatever in fucking Korea. Those are just CIA fucking media propaganda bullshit. They were paying those fucking Kirk protesters. They didn't even know what the fuck was going on. And the other thing, yeah, they're literally like, this is fucking genocide, you dumb fucks. Like, the entire world is like, no. It was funny because there was this British PM or something, or British, one of those fucking, I don't know what they call them. What do you call those? Senator, British senator, whatever the fuck the term is. House of Lords, bitch, probably. I don't even fucking know. But anyway, he said something like, "What does racism even mean anymore? It doesn't. It's a nonsensical term or some fucking bullshit." I was like, well, first of all, the British pretty much created racism. But Elon Musk retweets it and says, exactly. And then I tweet, okay, so do anti-Semitism now. It's so fucking bullshit how these fucking Nazi white supremacists are like, racism doesn't exist anymore. We're post-racial. And it's like, oh wait, but anti-Semitism though. You guys are anti-Semitic. How dare you? How dare you bring race into this? Mind you, it was white people, it was German people who created the concept that Jewish people were raised in the first place. For 1800 years. For 1800 years in Europe, the persecution was just religion. But because in the 1800s, by then, they had been enslaving Africans or slaves or whatever for hundreds of years by that point, and they were conquering the world. And so they were like, wait a second. It's scientific. Race is scientific, actually, since we're on top right now, even though we were only on top for 100 years out of 10,000 years of civilized history. We're the best. And the race science says so. And so they were like, wait a second, but these Jewish people are different from us. There must be a racial difference. It was the first fucking time in 1800 years they thought that Jews were of a different race. And that's the whole fucking point of Israel, right? So when this fucking retard say, oh, I don't see racism anymore, it's like, you dumb fucks. What do you think Israel was created for? You fucking retards. But yeah. Anyway, a little bit of BB blaming China and Qatar. Yeah, it's like, there's no need to spread anti-Israel propaganda anymore. You guys do a good job on your own, live streaming your own fucking psychopath shit. It's like, You should blame Israel for spreading anti-Israel propaganda. That's who you should actually be blaming. Because what's not Israel propaganda, it's Israel truth. So people are just getting angry at Israel truth. Anti-Israel truth. Obama drone striking the fuck out of Africa. Yeah, Obama is one of the most anti-black presidents in history. Epstein probably had so much shit on Clinton. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, the dude got caught getting his dick sucked in the Oval Office. How careful do you think he's going to be with a fucking smorgasbord of, you know, lowly girls to, you know, do things with, right? I mean, like, literally got caught in the Oval fucking Office. Do you think this idiot is going to have any discretion when it comes to stuff he thinks is going to be secure? Like, Clinton was the biggest fucking retard ever. Like, I hope he is remembered as one of the worst presidents of all time. Like, because he is. Let's see. There's 2 Trump supporters on KTSC were just as cringe as libtards. Yeah, I mean, I was trying to guide them, but that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's hopeless. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the doomsdayers, the black pillars are right. Maybe I need to get the fuck out. Well, I don't think they said that to me, but you know, what's about the Ronnie Chen's Asian president thing that's actually interesting? Did you know that before God damn it. Who's the mayor right now? San Francisco? Wiki. Mayor of San Francisco. Daniel Lurie. Who was that before? That was recent. All right. So if you notice, if you look at, well, I guess you can't look at, well, whatever. I don't want to go through the whole thing. But Gavin Newsom was from 2004 to 2011 the mayor of San Francisco. But guess who was after him? A guy named Ed Lee. Ed Lee from 2011 to 2017. If I recall correctly, things were pretty okay from 2011-2017. You know, afterwards, you had fucking London Breed for 7 years, from 2018 to 2025. And look what the fuck happened. Look what the fuck happened to San Francisco after an Asian man fucking cleaned it up. Ed Lee cleaned it up, and London Breed shat all over it. Like, who the fuck wants to live in San Francisco anymore? I was there last week. I managed to stay away from the Night of the Walking Dead, but I was close to it. I was close to the Nights of the Walking Dead. I was in the downtown area, but it's just kind of like, yeah. God, I feel like every fucking time I'm talking about leaving America or staying, and like my parents and etc. etc. You know, and I'm just fucking, I don't even fucking know, man. I don't know. I don't know. You know, if the CIA Mossad came up to me and they said, you know what, we'll give you $100 million to go away and live in China for the rest of your life, and be like, you know what, that's very tempting. Might just take that because it's not worth the fucking. You know, I'll be like, you know what, I'll just take 10. JK. I would never sell out. At least not for 10. It has to be at least 100. 100 million. 100 million I might sell out. 10 million I'll be like, you gotta up it. You gotta up it to 100. Because then I I'd use the 10, and then I use the 90 to fund shit back home. JK, 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 JK. Or am I? I don't know. Call me CIA. Call me Vasad. give me that Charlie Kirk money. Just kidding. Just kidding. I don't want to be on the payroll. I know how that worked out. Don't call me. Don't call me, please. BYD just got the record for fast. Oh yeah, I saw that too. Your life is like the U.S. dollar, only 99% of value. Invest in it wisely. Yeah, no skin in the game. Don't take round eye all holidays. Thanksgiving. Well, I will probably go back to New York for Thanksgiving, but sure. Are South Koreans mostly evangelicals? Not mostly, actually. I think it's around a third, if I recall correctly. I think South Korea is around a third evangelical Christian. Maybe, probably like, let's look it up. Religion percentages. South Korea. Okay, yeah. 20% Protestant, 11% Catholic, so 31% Christian. 51% unaffiliated, which just means, I guess, atheist. And 17% Buddhist. So, yeah, mostly either Christian or Buddhist or atheist. Maybe my goal in life is to spread Orthodox Christianity in South Korea as a panacea for this fucking Western shit. That'll be my life goal from now on. You know what? I'm kind of over it. Here. Mossad needs a closer. Look at you. You mentioned BB and anti. I mean, who doesn't mention BB and anti? It's just kind of like, you know what the real word has lost its meaning? Anti-Semitism has lost its meaning. When you say people who protest children getting annihilated are anti-Semitic, you have just, like, do people not know the Aesop fable of, like, boy who cried wolf, boy who cried anti-Semit, Zionist who cried anti-Semitism? Like, do people not know that fucking story? Like, goddamn. Am I taking crazy pills? Like, how many crazy people are there in the world? What about Karen Bass? Oh god, don't get me started on Karen Bass. Karen Bass is fucking anti-Asian Nazi scum. Not only that, she like does shit for NED. She does stuff for the fucking CIA. It's the end of the world, Doug. You were right. That's what I told you, David Tay. But you were like, oh, man, New York City, it's best. Just live in my tiny room forever in New York City because New York City. And I was like, SF temporarily cleaned up. Bye, Mom. Bye, Dad. I send R&B. That'll be like, yeah, that'll be the reverse. It's like, only within a generation, we're back. We're back in Asia, guys. We're never going to build generational wealth here, that's for sure. Isn't that crazy, though? You know, if you think about it, if you look at GDP charts, not just of China, but like rest of Asia versus, you know, in 1950, right? If you use 1950 as your starting point, and then now you see all the, not only China, but South Korea, Japan, Singapore, Taiwan, you know, all these places with multi-trillion-dollar economies. And you're just kind of like, oh, shit. We need to go back. You know, like Kate. Like, you know, Jack and Lost. Like, we need to go back, Kate. We need to go back. Exactly. I'm not suicidal. The 3 notarized suicide note, unless you have 3 suicide note notaries verifying my signature. Yeah, Bass is obviously, yeah, it's fucking Sorosian Trotskyite. Go in, David Tay, next time. Just do it. Just go in and tell me what it's like. Oh God, Elon Musk. No. How does Karen Bass get elected? Well, like you said, George Soros, I guess. Sup, D Wallace? Check. Good to check in. People already forgot about the fires regarding Karen Bass. Well, our party didn't forget about the fires. I'm actually researching them, and we will be coming out with something. So, we are back on the boats. Do you know a lot of Koreans do not know JFK just from Korea? Wait, what do you mean? What is just from Korea? What? Is that a thing? Just for JFK being just from Korea? I don't know what that is. I don't know if JFK was that popular in Korea because I don't think people knew about him that much. I really think the only like popular South Korean presidents, like apparently they don't even like Truman because they thought, they bought the Douglas MacArthur lie that he was too soft. But those are just the boomers, the fucking retarded boomers. They're all brainwashed. No matter how educated they are, they're all brainwashed. Let me tell you. I know from personal experience. They are all fucking brainwashed. If you were born between the years 19... I want to say, yeah, if you were born between the years 1948 and 1948 and 1980 in South Korea, you're basically brainwashed. I'm sorry to say. Michael Wan, if you're watching, you were brainwashed. Anyone else? If you were born from the years 1948 to 1980 in South Korea, you were brainwashed. You were less brainwashed from 1980 to 1990, but still somewhat brainwashed. And the brainwashing kind of like dissipates after 1990. But there still is, a minimal level of brainwashing because they need you to hate the commies up north, right? But the most brainwashed people are in the world, in my opinion. The most brainwashed people in the fucking world are South Koreans born between 1948 and 1960. That 12-year period, if you were born in that 12-year period, you are one of the most brainwashed people on the planet. Yeah. Because I say that's because my older aunt kind of still knew that the Japs were kind of like not good people. No. Not at all. My mom just doesn't get it. She's like, but China did the same thing. Blah. But my aunt was more like, so my aunt was probably, I want to say 1942-ish, something like that. But so she wasn't like really that alive when the Japanese were occupying the country. She probably was 3 when it ended, right? But she knew enough to be like, yeah, the Japs, no good. No good, my friend. And, but like if you were born in that 48 to 60 era, 48 to 60, like right in that Korean War era and right in the aftermath era, you have no rational thought. You are stuck in a matrix within a matrix. Like the Western society, the CIA, they've already created this matrix. But within that matrix of the Western society, there's this even fucking more condensed matrix, which is South Korean 1948 to 19... If you were born in that fucking region, you have no idea what reality is. And whenever I tried to tell you what reality is, you just... Remember that scene in The Matrix when he's learning about the Matrix and, fucking Morpheus is like, it's all turn a human being into this, battery. And then he's like, stop. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. And then he fucking throws up. That's That's all of South Korea. When they know the truth, those fucking South Korean boomers, when they hear what the actual truth is, they go apoplectic. Apoplectic, you know? They're just like, no, can't be true. Kim Il Sung's evil. He's an imposter. I know it. Even though even fucking Western scholars said that was bullshit in the 1960s, I still believe it because I'm retarded. You know, that's what you're dealing with, the total brainwashing. So there you go, MK Ultra. There you go. If you want to actual research actual brainwashing, just look at South Korea from 1948 to 1960. There you go, CIA. That's your case study. Just be extremely fascist and kill anyone that disagrees with you, or disappear them, or threaten to take their children away and give them to adoption agencies. Yes, that happened. Or just kill them. You know what's the easiest way to suppress speech? Just kill people. That's what South Korea was. Apoplectic, sorry. Oh, I guess that's JFK instead of Fabo-K. I feel like Koreans like Clinton. Maybe not the evangelical ones. Because the evangelical ones still remember the dick sucking, that's for sure. My mom actually doesn't like Trump. Not because he's Republican or anything, but because she thinks he's crass and rude. And so she doesn't like him. It's actually kind of funny. But no, my mom is a very hardcore Christian. I would say she's like, her Christianity is mostly legit, except for not accepting the sins of South Korea. That's true. But besides that, I would say her faith is mostly legitimate, based on, you know, how she lives and whatever. And so I don't fault her for that. Have all the Christian thoughts you want, but I will call you out if you're a hypocrite under the Christian rules. And guess what? I know those Christian rules because my mom, for example, when I was in high school, she would have me read a chapter of Proverbs every day of the month. So I would finish the book over and over again every month. So, yeah, she kind of created a monster. It's so funny because in 2019, you know, when I was kind of like, oh, God, what do I do with my life? You know, I was like, do I go back to business school? Do I go back to whatever? It's time to call this acting thing quits, right? This was 6 years ago. It was my mom who was like, you know what? You're always good at reading. So maybe you should just read and you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out all these books you read. And then I just started reading. Yeah, I started reading books about media people. I think I've shared this before. I started reading books about tech people. Just try to figure out how the great people, or people I thought were interesting, or you know, stuff that I wanted to do, like media or tech or whatever. I was just kind of like, oh, how did they do it? And then when the pandemic hit, you know, I was already in this groove of just reading, right? I was reading, you know, even in 2019, I wasn't reading Marxist-Leninist shit, but I was reading like all this, you know, Sapiens. I was reading all these Bob Iger biographies. I was reading shit from Benjamin Horowitz, you know, A16Z, reading Peter Thiel. I was reading whatever. I was reading everything like my fucking hands, you know, I thought was smart people were talking, right? I was like, oh, these are people that are considered smart, so maybe I'll just read what they're doing. And then, yeah, the pandemic hit, and then I was like, wait, why are Asian people getting the shit kicked out of them? Not by white people, but by Hispanic and black people. Well, better learn about race in America, so what do? Well, who was the most kind of like person about race in America, and who knew how exactly everything worked. Well, I was like, oh, it's probably Malcolm X because people told me all this shit about him, and I'm like, well, people told me all this shit about him. I want to see what he had to say. I guess like I'm kind of like contrary in that way. When a lot of people tell me something about someone, then I'm like, wait a second, let me see for myself what's going on here. Like, I don't like being told what to think about anything anymore. When if somebody insists on something, especially if I think they're retarded, I will I will investigate the opposite side even harder. So yeah, that's what I did. Just started reading that. Just started reading, and as you can see, it's gone a little crazy. It's gotten a little bit crazy, yeah? So yeah, this is how I avoid being brainwashed. This is where I get. It's funny because like my 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 dad says something like, "Oh, you're brainwashed. Your brain," and I say a stupid dad joke to him back, and I'm like, "Yeah, your brain is so clean. Got to muddy it up with facts." Oh, did it come from UNC Chapel Hill? Where you have like actual stuff about that? Chapel Hill's not close to Dietrich. I mean, isn't I feel like it would be like UVA or something closer. John Hopkins, right? Isn't Hopkins like right near Fort Detrick? My mom definitely is interesting. She does like it that I'm not as aimless and depressed about my life anymore. But yeah, she is dismayed to find out what is catching my focus, obviously. Um but yeah, at the end of the day, it's funny cuz like I think Koreans, not only are they brainwashed, but there's also this element of trauma, PTSD trauma and fear. There's always this element of like, oh, if you say that, we're not going to be allowed in South Korea anymore. And then I'm just saying to them, logically thinking, if communism is so evil and it's so apparent, it's so obvious, then why wouldn't I be able to say what I'm, saying and be allowed back into South Korea? Or why do they censor all this stuff? Shouldn't they read it themselves and be like, oh yeah, these people are crazy and retarded. Of course I hate North Korea. Right? If it's that obvious, they should be able to read Kim Il-sung's shit and be like, hey, this guy sucks. This guy's crazy and ridiculous. This stuff from 40, 50, 60 years ago, he's nuts. He's really crazy. Yeah, that's why I can't read this shit. Thank you, South Korea. Thank you for saving me from reading this crazy shit. Obviously, he's evil, and I shouldn't read this anymore. Wait a second. Wait a second. Oh. Wait a second. Oh. 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 It's like people don't understand, like South Koreans, if you're born between 1948 and 1960, they do not understand how logical reasoning works. They just don't. It's like this fear because, like I said, they killed everyone who said anything otherwise, right? When you grow up looking at that shit, you're going to be fucking scared. Like there's almost this trigger. I was talking to this. I was always talking to this. I think she was probably maybe born a little bit I want to probably say she was probably in her 50s or 60s, which would put her in the 1960s probably. So not within that range, but still kind of in the brainwash area. Um, and we had all just watched Unit 731. And I have been saying, like, yeah, this is the shit the South Korean government also tries to hide because they were mostly made up of Japanese collaborators, and the people who were fighting the Japanese were in the north. And she still was like, oh, but North Korea's still evil and Kim Jong Un's bad. And I'm like, oh my fucking god. And then like I was like, no. Like Xi Jinping, or not Xi Jinping, Mao Zedong had the right fucking idea. Like, this is how we fucking fight back. We have to collect our strength and fight the white man, whatever. And she's like, no, we shouldn't do that, because if we do that, that'll make the white people hate us more, and they're gonna attack us more. And I'm like, oh my god, you guys, you are all fucking brainwashed in this like mental Faraday cage. Like a mental fucking Faraday cage is happening right now. You know, that's why I'm just kind of like, you know, maybe the doomers are right. Maybe it's too late for America, you know? At least for anyone over the age of, say, 50. Because a lot of those boomers, they all fall for it again awards. Okay? Like, they saw the 67 USS Liberty shit happen. Right? They saw Vietnam happen. Right? What else did they see? They saw all this fucking CIA shit happen, and they're still like, Charlie Kirk, or Christianity, or MSNBC, or whatever. And I'm just kind of like, what are you talking about? Yo, Brian C, what up? Thanks for coming. Thanks for subscribing. Are you sure this first time here? I feel like I've seen Brian C before, but welcome. This is just a spot. I'll just say it again for new people, but this is just a spot for me to talk shit. It's not really, I'm not really arguing at all. So if you want to argue, you can go fuck yourself. This is my space where I just talk shit. So that's basically it. If you want to chill, that's cool. If you want to argue, then fuck off. But yeah, that's generally how this channel goes. Because this channel's not for anyone. This channel's for the aliens 500 million years in the future to be like the one human who got everything right when the world collapsed. It was Doug Kim. If only they listened to this one human on YouTube. That's why I'm making this, for posterity. Because like 500 million years, I will be vindicated 500 million years from now. Just like Stalin said, the winds of history will sweep the crap off my fucking grave or some shit like that. I'm paraphrasing. But it'll be the same with me. The winds of history will fucking sweep away all the fucking bullshit that, fucking Taiwanese Trotskyites can put on my fucking grave, you know? But yeah. Just because I just, might sound slightly aggro, but we've had people in the past come into this channel thinking that this was a debate, and it's not. So, just forewarning. Okay. Doug's mom's react. My son is a commie. Exactly. I posted Jeffrey Sachs' COVID link in Discord. I'll look at it later. We are definitely Mao Zedong gang in here. That's true, Brian C. Mao Zedong is the savior of all non-white people in the fucking world. That's right. I fucking said it. Every non-white person in the fucking world owes gratitude to fucking Mao Zedong. The reason I say that, civil rights movement doesn't happen with the Mao Zedong. Because without Mao Zedong, Vietnam, Korea, we both don't have that leverage, right? Vietnam doesn't have that leverage. Korea doesn't have that leverage. right? Without Mao Zedong, Vietnam just goes to America completely. Even China. China goes to fucking America completely. It's all fucking KMT, right? It's all fucking, imperialized. First it was Britain, now it's America, right? That's what would happen without Mao Zedong, right? And so without that, you don't get the Vietnam War. And without the Vietnam War, you don't get civil rights movement. You're still stuck in the fucking Jim Crow era. That's for fucking sure. Without the Soviet Union and China, you are stuck in fucking Jim Crow. So every fucking non-white person in the fucking world owes a debt of gratitude to Mao fucking Zedong. So we are all, you see this? This ain't white. So we are in the all in the fucking Mao Zedong gang. I mean, I don't really even care about Charlie Kirk fans, to be honest. I'm just kind of like, there's Charlie Kirk fans on the right, and then there's fucking, fucking wokeonomic zombies on the left. They're all fucking just imbeciles. It's just basically like, yo, it's all about imperialism. It's all about the CIA. It's all about the fucking ruling class. This is all just nonsense. These are all secondary questions. These are all, how like, I think Stalin said that too. Something like how the peasant question, they're a derivative question. Everything is derivative to the superstructure of society. Black Panthers were passing out literal. Yeah, Black Panthers were fucking based, actually. That's why the FBI went after them. You ever notice how the CPUSA is still standing, and the Black Panther Party, which was like comprised of fucking, it started by 2 college students, got the full ire of the fucking COINTELPRO program. Do you ever fucking wonder about that, and like wonder why the CPUSA is so fucking useless? Yeah, because they are. They're fucking useless. CPUSA hasn't done fucking shit. 2 black college kids start this fucking ragtag group party, and the entire fucking FBI is on them. And you're just kind of like, oh yeah, let me follow the CPUSA. Like, what are you fucking talking about? That's the thing, though. They didn't learn from Muhammad Ali, because the NAACP, they promoted the Vietnam War. They said to black American youth, they were like, this is how we gain civil rights. This is how we become American. This is how we show our patriotism. By joining in war. And today you see that. You see that. I think America is around 11 or 12% black. It's around 18% in the military. Black in the military, and they're 40% black. Like of the women, 40% are black. So it's like, yeah, black people bought into American imperialism. They didn't learn from fucking Muhammad Ali. They learned from Zionist liberals who fucking paid off the NAACP because they needed Israel to be supported, and Israel will always need military protection, right? That's the whole team up. That was the whole point of the team up in the 1960s. In 67, for example, that's when Martin Luther King was talking about Vietnam and excommunicating from society. 67 was also a couple months later. That was the USS Liberty, right? That was the 67 Six-Day War, where they took all that territory in the Sinai area, right? They took all that fucking territory in 67. And, well, I think the right and the left needs to be sent to communist re-education camps. Like, I think everyone who thinks that, LGBTQ shit is communism needs to be sent to a gulag. I think anarchists need to be sent to a gulag. I think all the fucking Antifa larts need to be sent to gulag. So yeah, the right maybe, but the left too. Because they're a bunch of fucking left retards who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're really just Nazis.
Um, what's the Zapruder film? We got to play the Red Sun song right now. Red Sun. What the hell is Red Sun in this guy? Yeah. As a Nigerian American, you could tell that too, right? The fucking black Americans in the 1960s, they sold out to American imperialism. And even before that, guess what? After the Civil War in 1865, black Americans signed up for the Buffalo Soldiers. And what happened at the Battle of Wounded Knee? It was a lot of black soldiers just massacring in Native Americans. So from then on, the American military knew, or the American government knew, hey, we just got to follow England's lead. So England, for example, they had the British Raj, and then they controlled a lot of China with the Opium Wars, right? So what they did was they used their British Raj soldiers to enforce their shit in China and all over Asia, by the way, like Malaysia and all their other Burma and all their other places. And then they used Chinese bureaucrats, fucking Han Kucker types, and then they used them to manage the British Raj. So now you got fucking China and India still hating on each other because, it's mostly because of the fucking cheats. But, you still have that tension going on. And to this day, guess what? They had the black people killing the Native Americans. And to this day, black people, there aren't really many Native Americans, but they don't really get along with Hispanic people, for example, for the longest time. Those communities do not get along. Any person in LA will tell you, any black gang member and any Hispanic gang member will tell you how well they get along. So it's all about just divide and conquer since the beginning of fucking time. And black people also fell for it again awards, They're like, oh, well, if we kill these chinks and gooks if we're in Vietnam, maybe the white man will like us more. Yeah. That didn't really work out, did it? No. No, it did not. What is the Chinese nuclear power song? I don't know what that is. I love when black liberals lecture Africans about training. Black liberals are fucking retarded. I will challenge. You know what I'll do? I'll do one of those 20 black liberals versus one Korean communist. One of those fucking Jubilee videos. I'll fucking destroy anyone. Any topic they can throw at me. Even black liberation, just do it. Dude, I'll fucking research the shit out of it. I'll fucking destroy all of them. I'd probably destroy them even without research right now. If they were to fucking debate me today, I would fucking destroy all of them. I swear to God, I've studied so much more than the average black liberal about black racial shit. Because that's what I do. That's the Doug Kim way, When I get challenged on anything, I'm just kind of like, okay, let me read about it. Let me read what your guy says. Let me read everything that I can. Let me read Frantz Fanon, okay? Let me read Malcolm X. Let me read W.B. Du Bois. Let me read Booker T. Washington. Let me read Frederick Douglass. Let me read all this shit. Let me see exactly what everyone fucking said. Oh. Is it bad? Sorry. I think it's I don't know. I don't see any drop off. Oh. I don't fucking know how to work this thing. Sorry, is it terrible? Is it still bad? Is it okay? Oh, fuck. How bad is it? Is it unwatchable? Ah, shit. I mean, damn it. I gotta, I got this computer last year, but I feel like I might have cheaped out on some of the specs. Maybe I need more RAM or some shit. Ugh. Sorry. Next time I'll restart my computer before starting the stream. Sometimes that usually like clears up a lot of fucking cache shit. But yeah, I don't know what's going on. I am seeing 70% dropped frames now that you guys do mention. I'm not sure what's causing it. I mean, I won't go for that much longer. Let me just. I can't fix anything now. Is it okay for the rest of the stream? Was it like that just now, or was that like that the whole stream? Damn it, my freaking nose is itchy as fuck. Why is it dropping frames? Ugh. I'm so tilted right now. All right, let me Has it been like that on previous streams too? Or is it just today? Fuck. All right. Well, sorry about that. I will try to restart next time before starting the stream. I think that might be what's going on. Let me try. You know what? Let me try. Did that do anything? I just like started and I just restarted the stream. Did that work? I just try to jump start it. I just try to fucking. God damn it. All right, let me try to. I'm trying to close programs. All right, I don't know what's fucking going on. I guess Mossad is fucking me up again. God damn it, Mossad! I can't get any streams without shit going wrong. Every fucking stream, there's some fucking bullshit that happens to me. I don't know what's going on. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, God. Hold on. Let me see what my stream looks like on my. Well, at least the sound is fine, right? The sound is like fine. It's just that I go like. Yeah, right? Is that what the sound is fine, right? Whatever. I won't talk for that I won't talk for that long. No, I've got an Apple, so it's not Task Manager. It's fucking I don't know, Force Quit or whatever. It's fine. Whatever. Sound is fine. It's fine. You just, this isn't a very like whatever. Anyway, yeah. So after troubleshooting for 10 minutes, I'll try to restart it next time. Sorry, but for now, you're just gonna have to see me go. Well, yeah, I don't know. Does anybody else? What do you all think? What are you guys thinking right now? The people who live, the Asian Americans here,
who live in America, are you guys thinking, hey, maybe I need to get the fuck out? Or are you thinking, I'm just going to tough it out, see what happens? Or I can't leave because I don't have money. And that's fair too, right? Like, who knows? I understand that I'm in somewhat of a privileged position to even have that option to think about, right? Part of me is just kind of like, I'm just so over it, I'm just so over it. Like, if it appeared like people were starting to listen to what I was saying, instead of just like totally ignoring me, even though I get it right all the time, I never win Fall For It Again awards, and I'm like the most pristine, never winning Fall For It Again awards in on Twitter, I feel like. And yet I get no fucking respect. I get no fucking cred. I get no fucking whatever. Everyone's just like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Like, no one has ever, on Twitter, no one has ever gotten mad at me for being wrong about something, for lying about something, for manipulating something. Nobody, they all get mad at me because I'm saying something that's true that they don't want me to say. And really, that's when censorship happens the most, right? Censorship doesn't happen when somebody's telling the truth that everyone knows is true. Censorship doesn't happen when someone's telling a lie and everyone knows it's a lie. Censorship happens when thing is true that not many people know, and because they don't know it or not familiar with it, they get mad at it because they think it's like that thing in the Matrix I was talking about. It's like they can't accept it because that would mean, like, a South Korean can't accept that North Korea were the good guys the entire time, because they now, for 70 years of their lives or 80 years of their lives, have spent their entire lives thinking the other way and also supporting their government that has been trying to annihilate them for 70, 80 years. They would be directly responsible for something like that, right? Or they wouldn't be directly responsible, but you know what I mean. They would have some sort of guilt over being the bad guys after thinking they were the good guys for, their entire lives. They were conditioned to believe in a lie that would totally destroy their entire worldview were they to be informed the opposite. American boomers don't even have that. American boomers, they're just retarded, really. They probably have had the most access to the actual truth. It's just that they're too retarded or they're too racist to think that they're wrong. Exactly, BM. Reddit, America's Reddit island in real life. Black-pilled on America. Yeah, same situation as you. Parents don't want to leave. I feel like I should start an organization called Go Back to China, and it's just for Asian Americans who want to go to China. They don't even have to be Chinese. They could just be, if you look like a chink, you can join the club, right? Go Back to China. It's like this organization, right? That just it'll probably, we'll have some Chinese people, like Chinese citizens who know what they're talking about, right? Like, here's the requirements you need to go back to China, right? Here's what you need for this visa. Here's what you need for that visa. This is what you could do once you're there. We need some sort of fucking Go Back to China organization. And we could just call it that. Go Back to China. And you'll be like, yes, thank you. Go Back to China. What is that? Go Back to China. GBTC. The GBTC organization. And, it's kind of like a service. It's like for like, I guess, I don't know, $1,000. Our team of specialists will analyze your history, your resume, and your current life dynamics, your ethnicity, legal stuff. We'll figure out what the best path to China is for you. And, once we get it started, we can even build like go back to China communities in China that can help, Asian Americans get acquainted with their new Chinese way of life. Obviously, we would turn away any former boba liberal. If you had voted for a liberal president, you are not allowed to apply. If you have ever voted for a liberal president, you are banned. Actually, I'll change it. I'll say if you voted for a liberal president within the past 5 years, you have to wait 5 years until that vote has been not, 5 years afterwards, and then you can apply. So there's a 5-year waiting period if you voted for a liberal president. What do you guys think of my idea? It's great, right? I think there would be a lot of takers. There would be like at least people who are curious. You wouldn't even have to go through it. It's like a consultant program, where we'd come up with all these different things you could do with your skills and your your resume or whatever. What visa to apply for, what community to go to. Maybe if you already speak Mandarin, you can go to one of the tier whatever cities that might be more suited to your interests or whatever. But if you're more, Americanized and you're more like just, don't know any Chinese, then maybe, suited for Shanghai or whatever, one of the cosmopolitan ones. And yeah, because guess what? We ain't being appreciated here, that's for sure. Asian fucking dudes have built the fucking internet. We built the fucking railroads, and then we fucking built the railroads again. Except it was like the information railroads. And now we just build, high-speed railroads in our homelands. And now they can't even get high-speed railroads going in here because they're barbarians. So we got to go back to where we could build even more cool railroads. Cause shit ain't like in any permutation of reality, shit will not be better in America for the Asian man than it is in China. That's what I've determined. Well, for me it might be too late since I'm turning 42 in November. So, yeah, I guess, since I've got money, that'll solve a little bit of problems, but I still probably have to find something to do, and I wouldn't even know what to fucking do in China. I'd be preaching to the choir, right? They're already communists. They already got it. So I'd be like, oh, okay. So, what do we do now? Just enjoy life? Wait a second. Should have done that the entire time. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna hug the communist flag like I hug US flag. I mean, honestly, really what I would love to do if I was able, I feel like North Korea, if I was able to go there and actually actively participate or assist with economic planning and development using my skills as, somewhat of a finance guy, I think I would actually like that a lot. That would be like a great thing, I think. Or even just, working in North Korea, just helping their society fucking grow, right? Because I think there's a lot more opportunity now. I think that in 25 years, there's a good chance that North Korea is going to pass South Korea. Because if you think about it, in the 1970s, they were around the same. They were around the same, right? In the 1970s, they were around the same. But obviously, by the 1990s, things were a lot different because, there was that famine, and Kim Il-sung died, and then Russia obviously became capitalist, and so they lost their main trade partner. So they were basically starved to death um, from sanctions. But from 1970s, like think about it, that was just what 20 years, 1970s to the 1990s. In 20 years, South Korea seemed like it won. And while they advance, like South Korea did advance since then too, but they didn't really advance that much more after like 2010 or so, right? Um, they're kind of stuck in that Japanese sort of system. Well, they got stuck in the 1990s, right? Because of the Plaza Accords. South Korea kind of also got stuck after the IMF crisis too. Like obviously, yes, it's still more advanced than North Korea, like much more so, obviously. And I'm not saying it stagnated in 1997, never advanced. Obviously, it's to American standards today. But what I mean is that like the real industrialization didn't markedly go up from there from the late 1990s, early 2000s. So when people are like, when I say something like, yeah, I think in 25 years, North Korea will at least match South Korea's industrial development. And people think like, oh, you're crazy. Oh, this is unbelievable. And it's like, well, South Korea did it. And they were working under a fascist dictatorship, which wasn't exactly as efficient as a communist one. Not only that, they have China at their borders and the closer relations that they're making with China. Guess what? Those robots in China, they can make shit in fucking 5 seconds now. They can make an entire city in like 10 days probably. So like if they have full trade relations with China, yeah, that shit's gonna fucking build like fucking Terran SCVs. It's gonna be like Terran SCVs making barracks and fucking command centers all over the fucking place in like 5 seconds. That's what it's gonna look like in Pyongyang. It's gonna be fucking SCVs, like Chinese SCVs, just fucking like making like all these buildings in 10 days. And you're gonna see like all these fucking development in North Korea in 2049, the 100th year anniversary of the Chinese Revolution. North Korea will surpass South Korea in industrial development. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing that would stop that is World War III, which is also very likely within 2049. But assuming that doesn't happen, assuming World War III doesn't happen, assuming America becomes communist and doesn't destroy the rest of humanity, then North Korea, well, I guess in that case, South Korea would become probably communist as well, or would at least normalize relations with North Korea. I don't know. The point is, North Korea is going to look a lot different in 25 years, I think. Because now Russia doesn't give a fuck. Russia's like, yeah, they helped us. They helped us kill Ukrainian Nazis, so we are going to trade with them. And China's like, you know what? Welcome back, brother. Welcome back. After making relations with Vietnam, that's the thing that people don't realize. Like, yes, the Sino-Soviet split was somewhat necessary, but some North Koreans and some Vietnamese people, both, not just Vietnam, but North Korea thinks, some of that shit in the Cultural Revolution, no good. Because guess what? The Red Guards, they killed a lot of Koreans in Manchuria. Because they were like, oh, Kim Il-sung's a revisionist. So they killed ethnic Koreans in Manchuria. We do not like that. Obviously, we're not going to be like, fuck China now, but we're just kind of like, we're not all like, yeah, everything China does is 100%. That's why I'm like, with Vietnam, I'm just like, yeah, not everything China does is 100%. They've made mistakes too, and they'll admit it. Even Deng Xiaoping said something like Mao was 70-30. And he would say he was 50-50. So think about that. Even Deng Xiaoping said he made 50% mistakes compared to 50% correct decisions. Oh, Dirk Sharp thinks this is a debate area, so deleted. How about never come into my fucking channel ever again? Oh, Dirk Sharp thought this was a debate time? I'm sorry. Get the fuck out, Dirk Sharp. Piece of shit. Oh, ghost cities. Oh, Chinese ghost. Shut the fuck up. I don't fucking care about your retarded opinion. This is what I do. Like I said, Brian C, this is this you witnessed what I was talking about. This ain't a day. I'm not saying that that's you, but I'm just saying this is how the channel goes. Like if you're gonna talk some stupid fucking nonsense bullshit, you're just out. This is a no retard channel. This is no retards allowed. So yeah, there you go. Okay, let's see. Let's see what's going on. My family's mostly in China, based. Let's exclude the banana. Yeah, exactly. No banana rangs. Does everyone know what a banana rang is? We back on the boat, guys. There should be a test where you step on a picture of an American holy symbol. What is the American holy symbol? Like a cheeseburger? Go out to Korea, gook. It's funny, D. Wallace. Back in the day, Taiwan had a program called Love Boat. Oh, God. Yeah, no, I know all about Love Boat. Fucking, ugh. Reaffirm no furries. I saw a furry greeting their partner on Twitter in China. No. Fuck that. Furries are scum. I mean, white worshipping is still very prevalent in China and everywhere all... Well, yeah. It's not all over in China. It's mostly in the cosmopolitan cities. It's mostly in the very liberalized. And Deng Xiaoping knew that was going to happen. He knew that there was going to be some liberalization that was going to happen, but that they would be able to control it. And, you know, I'm not going to say that there isn't white. There definitely is white worshipping in a lot of the more Shanghai liberal areas, just because they see a lot of that American imperialism propaganda, like Hollywood, like Marvel movies, and they're like, oh yeah, white people, right? Because that's what fucking Hollywood does. But after COVID, and after all this bullshit in the past 5 years, a lot of Chinese people are like, you know what? Not anymore. Because I actually talked to people who would be like white worshipping or in that category, right? I am actually friends with, I think she's Taiwanese, but she lives in Shanghai. And she's like friends with all these like really hot influencers. Like rich and hot. So I'm like, oh, these are the type of people who would have WMAF mind virus, right? But even they're like, when I asked them about the Kirk assassination, they were like, I was like, hey, so what do your friends think about this? Or like, what do people in Shanghai saying about this? And she was like, yeah, we all think America's done. We're just we're just popping out the popcorn. So yeah, you would be OG skate nerdism. You would be correct if you were talking about pre-2020, but the calculus has shifted. People are kind of like, you know what? Maybe white people ain't so hot after all. Literally and figuratively. Big Korean community in Harbin, China. I do want to visit Harbin because it has Unit 731. The museum is there. Also, my friend who runs that Pacific Atrocities thing I talked about. Actually, let me put that in the... I forgot to talk about this, actually. I'll talk about when I put the link in. Actually, I'll just put it here. So that's the link for Pacific Front Untold. That's the thing I went to last week. It's a YouTube page for the conference I went last week. talking about the Japanese war crimes. They're actually coming out with a 6-part documentary series on not only the Japanese war crimes, but the CIA involvement with the American government involvement with that. And you'll learn why exactly the American government hid all those war crimes for the Japanese. And you might be like, oh, shit. But yeah, so check that channel out. That's what I've been, you know. Yeah, so then, what was it? Oh, what's interesting about this 6-part documentary series is it's actually like being narrated and I think directed by this white woman that I met also. It's weird because like I feel like this might be the first time ever that a white woman has talked about the Japanese war crimes on like an official media thing. I'm like, this might be historic actually. But we talked actually. She was actually very conservative leaning a little bit, but then there was a lot of bullshit that was going on. I won't talk about what she told me, and she told me some stuff in confidence, but she knows that there's some bullshit going on in the right wing. Let's just say that. Let's say we somewhat agree on the events of the past couple weeks. But yeah, she'll be, I think, narrating that series. I think the first one might have come out today. I'm not sure. I'll check it out later. I'll review it eventually, obviously. I did also notice that Tucker Carlson came out with his own 5-part documentary series on 9/11. I haven't seen it yet. I know he only released the first one, and you have to pay or you have to subscribe to Tucker Carlson's thing in order to fucking watch the whole thing. So part of me thinks it's probably like some sort of stupid cash grab and like not going to really reveal anything, someone who's already looked into 9/11's not already going to know. But I guess I do want to see. I'll watch the first one and see what it's like, I guess. But yeah, no furries allowed. North Korea getting huge. But yes, I will probably try to go to Harbin, China, on one of my trips to China soon. I do want to visit. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. My friend Jenny, she runs the Pacific Atrocities Organization. She's actually pretty tight with the museum director there. They had she got like an 8-hour tour in the 731 museum. So yeah, I'm looking forward to going and kind of like being acquainted with some of that stuff. Developmental economy model seems fundamentally flawed. If anything, South Korea needs North Korea's industrial capabilities to compete. Yeah, well, if you actually notice, or if you actually read, like I did, about the miracle on Han River in South Korea, you'll find that Park Chung-hee prioritized getting pig steel production going, the Pohang Steel Company. That was his big project for heavy industrialization. He wanted heavy industrialization for China. He got that capital, like I said before, from Japanese, right? Getting on his hands and knees and begging, sucking their dick for money. He also sent mercenaries to Vietnam. He also sold out prostitutes to the American military. And he also sold infant children to random adoption agencies. So that's how Park Chung-hee got the capital to develop Korea. But the plan itself was very modest, very similar to the industrialization of the Soviet Union, in 1928, back when they were fucking only farming and fucking whatever. So Park Chung-hee clearly analyzed Stalin's shit and was like, oh shit, he went into steel, I gotta go into steel. I gotta make Korea a steel powerhouse. That was Park Chung-hee's biggest project, the Pohang Steel Company in the 1970s. And that's why that area, that steel company, is a very strong Republican or right-wing stronghold in Korea, because they all kind of like, oh yeah, Park Chung-hee made this happen. So that's why, you have a strong right-wing area in that area. But yeah, they basically use Soviet-style economics to develop their industry. Like the miracle on Han River, that was a fucking communist miracle on Han River. They used a planned economy. He basically said to his chaebols, fucking make our industry, make our industry. Like use this money and make our industry. And if you fuck up, you're out. Like that's the other thing too. Like there were initial chaebols, and he gave some preferential treatment to some of his buddies, but he did make it sort of also like a meritocracy. If you failed, you didn't get any more money. You didn't get another shot. So a lot of those chaebols weren't the original chaebols. They were the ones that succeeded through Park Chung-hee's economic initiatives. But yeah, and North Korea, they're already communists, so they know how to do that shit extremely well. All they need is that money. They didn't get that they didn't sell out their fucking women to, prostitution, and they didn't use their men as mercenaries. They didn't get fucking $350-500 million from the Japanese in the 1960s. They didn't get all that shit. They traded with China. They traded grain with the Soviet Union, right? But they, once Russia sanctions them as well, there goes their oil, right? You need a lot of oil to industrialize. And once China sanctions them too, that's their food, right? Because North Korea isn't as arable as South. So throughout its history, until recently, it was not self-sufficient agriculturally. They had to change that during their arduous march. They call it the arduous march in the 1990s, where they restructured their own economy, the autarkic, Juche economy, in order to be able to support themselves agriculturally. And so now they are self-sufficient. And not only that, now that they are trading again with Russia, and presumably with that whole like parade and everything in China a few weeks ago, that was probably like, if Kim Jong-un is invited, I feel like, and he was kind of like talking with all the other different Southeast Asian leaders. They all wanted to talk to him. So it's just kind of like, oh, you might be getting some trade partners going on, And yeah. To be fair though, that's like one individual example from what Chandler says. The West is no longer as prestigious. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like when people talk about like, oh, I don't know if he was in the Communist Party, but I knew he was actually going to be executed for being a communist in South Korea. It was Sugman Rhee who saved his life. I think he was somewhat trying to play both sides at the end because, he was working for the Japs, and he was like, oh, maybe I need to not talk about that and look like I'm a I don't know. I feel like he was trying to play both sides or whatever. I don't know if he was a serious communist at the time, but he did know communist theory, obviously. But yeah, that's what I say all the time about like WMAF, whatever. I was like, oh, you're such an incel. Oh, should we even care? Like, I don't care about that for my personal life. And more realistically, I don't care about that going forward. This is a phenomena this is like a historical phenomena I'm mostly talking about. Like, yeah, obviously I see that Gen Z and earlier generations are buying less and less into this shit. But it's not because they're getting more woke. The real reason is because Asia in general is getting rich. Like in South Korea and fucking Japan, for example, those women actually don't want white men anymore. Because they've seen all this fucking they've seen WMA for the past 100 years themselves, Asians don't win Fall For It Again awards. Like the type of men that Japanese women want the most, it's actually Korean men. When they want foreigner men, it's not Japanese men, it's not white men, it's Korean men they want, right? Same thing for, you go on fucking these sexpat forums in the Philippines, They're all like complaining because the Filipino women now are like looking for looks-maxing Korean men who go to the Philippines. Because they're like, wait, if the money's the same, well, now I care about the aesthetic, right? Because all things being equal, if the white man and the Asian man have the same kind of money, well, I want to go with the aesthetic that I'm used to. I want to go with the aesthetic that I'm propaganding with, because like K-pop is all over fucking Southeast Asia as well. You know, I don't think a white boy band has been released since fucking Simon Cowell basically called it quits because K-pop was destroying everything. You know, so you got South Korean and Japan. I'm not saying it doesn't exist anymore. There probably are white men who can whatever, if they're rich and good looking. I'm sure that happens. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. But the day of that random fucking 50-year-old white guy going to Korea and getting laid, that's over. That guy is having trouble right now in the Philippines. That's what it is today. So yeah, I'm not worried about the WMAF mind virus. Because it's all about hypergamy. At the end of the day, it's all about money. It's all about what men have money. That's what it was. WMAF is just about imperialism. It's just about fucking who has money. And for the longest time, Asian people were fucking poor as shit, and white people weren't, right? And so you can see, obviously, who has the money? Yeah. Obviously, they're going to fucking date white people because they have more money. It's not fucking rocket science. But obviously, things are starting to change a little bit in the world. And so, it's just kind of like, yeah, you can be as weeby as you fucking want. But at the end of the day, this is what they want. Apparently this is what they want. This is what Japanese women want. Nande bayo. Probably not me, because I talk shit about Japs all the time. But you know what I'm saying. Anyway, I digress. I fucking digress. Oh man, it's already 10. All right, I think that's it for me for today, unless anyone wants to ask me anything. I guess I'll check my NGL. Actually, I couldn't sign on to my NGL because I got a new phone. Let me see if we can sign on to it. Damn it. Why can't I sign in? Oh, whatever. If you want to ask me a question, just ask it in the chat. Wait, what are you guys lolling about? Ha 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 ha. How's the ACP going? Well, it's going. We are going to have an event in LA on October 25th. Let me see. ACP California. Oh yeah, we did talk about Asada Shakur's passing. She was the godmother of Tupac Shakur. But she was also part of the Black Panther Party. I think she was living in Cuba. She was in exile, pretty much. KTSC is still dead. Yes, I believe it is. Yosep Huang wasn't here to hate. Yeah, where's Yosep Huang? Where's my KTSC update? But yeah, October 25th. If you're in Los Angeles, it's on 128th East 11th Street. It's the we're celebrating the October Revolution, so that'll be October 25th, 1 p.m. Doors open. It's just gonna be a chill thing. We're just hanging out, so just do that. What do you know about the Asian financial crisis in 2008? Oh, do you mean 1997? Well, I still have to do some research. I've only know like a cursory thing on it. got around 3 or 4 books on George Soros. So I will give you more of an update once I've read those. Got multiple books on George Soros and the Dulles brothers that I have to get through. But essentially, how I think it happened was that George Soros was doing some sort of currency manipulation. I think it was against the Thai baht, where there was some sort of. I'm not exactly sure, but he exploited something with the Thai baht, and that like caused the entire Southeast Asian like market to just fucking implode. Um, and I'm sure there was some funny business going on. I just couldn't tell you what it is right now. I'd have to research that. But from all the people I've somewhat talked to, there seems to be some sort of engineering that was going on as well to kind of force that issue. But ultimately, the effects were terrible for South Korea because, they told everyone to chip in their own gold to save the economy. That shit they never got back, right? They just took everyone's money to be like, hey, bail us out, even though we never bail you out. Well, South Korean citizens won the Fell For It Again awards, I guess, and they bailed the South, or they gave all their gold to bail the South Korean government out. And then South Korea had to agree for IMF funding. They had to say that now up to at least half of our companies are up for sale. Before that, they, like I said before, during the Park Chung-hee era, the reason they were able to develop as fast as they could, not only did they have the capital, not only have the communist plan, but they were also able to get protectionary measures that were not allowed for any other country except for South Korea, because, America doesn't want protectionism in other places. They want to be able to sell their goods for as much money as possible and extract as much fucking money so as to stop their development of finished goods. But for South Korea, the calculus shifted because in the 1970s, North Korea was doing so well that they did represent an existential threat for South Korea, and the Americans did recognize that as well. And Park Chung-hee did kind of negotiate with the Americans about this protectionary policy and tariffs pretty much. Like, for example, for the longest time, I think American cars or any foreign car in Korea would cost essentially double the price. Like, so to the Korean bourgeoisie, to the Korean chaebols, that was even like a higher status symbol to have like a BMW or whatever. Because not only you had to pay a higher price for that, 2x price probably, you had to pay 4x price because you got to pay the tariff too. So it was almost like a super flex for the Korean bourgeois. And so they had those protections in place because America allowed it to happen, right? So, but in 1997, I guess now that North Korea is no longer, a huge threat, at least conventional warfare wise, and now that America sees that South Korea's economy is doing really well, they're like, hey, let me get a little bit of that action. Let me get a little bit of that fucking, finance action. Let me get, we can't allow Koreans to have all the fucking labor value stolen from their chaebols. We need to steal some of that labor value ourselves. So yeah, I agree, D. Wallace. IMF crisis definitely sealed the deal for the vassal. I mean, Plaza Accords was that for Japan, and the IMF crisis was that for South Korea. And they are basically, they're basically cucks to the American empire until the American empire crumbles. So, engineering, and guess where he has that now? What's Scott Bessent? Who's Scott Bessent? Part of the engineering? I don't know what that is. Are you a member of the SRA? What's the S? Oh, Socialist Rifles? No, I'm not part of anything like that. Who is Jim Yong Kim on what is LI? I don't know what that is. Jim Yong Kim? Who's Tommy Turtle? Okay. Well, LinkedIn? I don't know who that is. Who the fuck is Jim Yong Kim? Former head of Jim Yong Kim? American physician and anthropologist, served as 12th president of the World Bank. Seems like scum. Oh, yeah. President of Dartmouth College. Definitely scum. I don't know who this is. I'd have to research this guy more, but sorry. I don't really know who this. Sorry, Tommy Turtle. I don't know who that is. Don't have a opinion, but from the looks of it, he's probably scum. But I don't know much else. Oh, I don't know who Scott Bessent is, so I'd have to research that too. Yeah. See? I don't know everything, guys. But I will research it and find out. That's the Doug Kim promise. I may not know it now, but I will eventually. All right. I think that's enough for today. It's been a couple hours and still seeing dropped frames at 66%. So, I will hopefully start my computer up next time before the stream, and it will not lag like a bitch. But sorry about that for people who are visually inclined. But yeah, I will see you guys on Thursday. Hopefully we will not have entered World War III by then. I probably will say that every stream from now on. All right.